An unbelievable event has just occurred involving the Los Angeles Chargers. An unprecedented move, a signing that is shaking up the NFL's backstage and leaving fans in a state of complete euphoria. We're talking about a huge reinforcement, one that changes the team's level, arrives to make an immediate impact, and makes any opponent look twice at the Chargers roster. And believe me, the best is yet to come, because the most important detail of this story is being talked about almost no one. But before revealing all that, let me ask you one quick thing. If you're a true Chargers fan, if you get excited with every snap, every tackle, and every victory of the Bolts, like this video now and subscribe to the channel, because here you'll follow every step of this historic signing, from the announcement to the impact on the field. The Chargers lost to the Denver Broncos in Week 18, in the last game of the regular season. But let's be very honest, that score doesn't tell the whole truth. The coaching staff made a clear decision to rest most of the starters, thinking exclusively about the playoffs. The offense was led by Trey Lance, operating an extremely basic playbook, with several reserve players spread across the field. The result was limited offensive production and a game that clearly didn't aim to reveal strategies or compete at maximum intensity. Even so, there's one detail that completely changes the interpretation of this game. The Chargers' defense simply dominated the matchup. Without fanfare and without all their starters, the defensive unit limited Bo Nix to just 141 yards on 23 pass attempts. In the running game, the Broncos also found no space. 31 carries for only 3.7 yards per attempt. And the most revealing fact of all is that Denver's only touchdown didn't come from the offense, but from an interception by Trey Lance returned to the end zone. In other words, the Chargers' defense didn't allow a single offensive touchdown, sending a strong and direct message to the entire AFC West. The atmosphere, however, became even more tense off the field. In the tunnel after the game, veteran safety Tony Jefferson was caught on camera firing off harsh, unfiltered criticisms at the Broncos. The video was recorded by ESPN journalist Chris Rem and quickly went viral. Jefferson made his contempt for the rival clear, stating that he had no respect for the Broncos, making only one positive exception for J.L. Skinner. The tone was explosive, direct, and raw, making it evident that there is no sympathy whatsoever between these two AFC West rivals. Internally, the feeling among the Chargers is one of total confidence. There is a clear conviction that if the starters had been on the field, the team would have swept the Broncos this season and possibly the entire division. However, this overconfidence also raises a red flag, because in the playoffs, any detail can become fuel for the opponent. Now, the focus is entirely on the wild card game against the New England Patriots in Foxborough. In case of victory, there's a real chance of a rematch with the Broncos, this time with all the starters on the field and in a completely different scenario. No lukewarm game, no reserves. It would be a total war rematch. Until then, the Chargers have a strong argument against Denver, but they need to be careful, because the Patriots can use exactly that posture as motivation, with the classic discourse that they are being underestimated. And that's precisely what leads us to the second critical point of this story. In the first quarter of the game against the Broncos, the worst-case scenario almost became a reality for the Chargers. Dante Jackson, one of the main pillars of the team's secondary, suffered an ankle sprain and did not return to the game, causing a great scare to everyone watching. With Nico Reed already out injured, the possible loss of Jackson would represent a devastating blow to a defense that directly depends on its secondary performing at full capacity. Fortunately, relief came after the final whistle. Coach Jim Harbaugh confirmed that Dante Jackson was cleared to return to the game, but was rested purely as a precaution, thinking about what really matters, the playoffs. Everything indicates that he will be available for the wild card round, and this is absolutely crucial for the Chargers' aspirations. The reason is simple and worrying at the same time. The Chargers will face one of the most dangerous passing attacks in the entire NFL. Throughout the season, even with some ups and downs, the team built impressive numbers in pass defense, finishing the year with the 5th lowest number of passing yards allowed and the 3rd lowest number of touchdowns allowed through the air. A large part of this success comes from the defensive scheme. Jesse Minter's insightful approach, the excellent rotation of safeties with R.J. Mickens, Elijah Molden, and Tony Jefferson, and, decisively, Dante Jackson's presence on the field. In 17 games with the Chargers, Jackson accumulated 12 passes defended and 4 interceptions, a performance that earned him the 21st best cornerback position in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus. Without him, the natural replacement would be Benjamin St-Juste, a solid player, but who participated in only 37% of the team's defensive snaps during the season, and the challenge couldn't be greater. On the other side will be Drake May having an MVP-worthy season. Under his command, the Patriots led the league with 7.7 net yards per pass attempt, totaling an impressive 4,258 passing yards. Even without a receiver considered an absolute superstar, the group formed by Stephon Diggs, Demario Douglas, and Kayshon Boutte is extremely dynamic and capable of punishing any defensive error. If the Chargers want to emerge victorious, the mission directly involves the secondary, and having a healthy Dante Jackson could be the decisive factor in keeping the game balanced and giving the team a real chance to advance in the playoffs. And now we come to the move that caught many fans completely by surprise, and that began to generate intense debates among analysts and Chargers fans. Information began circulating behind the scenes in the NFL that Ben Cleveland was available on the market, something that quickly caught the attention of those closely following the needs of the Los Angeles roster. It's no secret that the offensive line has been a point of concern throughout the season, and any possibility of reinforcement, especially at this crucial moment, naturally sparks curiosity and expectation. Selected in the third round of the 2021 draft, Ben Cleveland has always been described by scouts and analysts as a huge, powerful, and well-proportioned human being, a definition that truly does justice to his physical characteristics. Standing at an impressive 6 feet 4 inches, 1.98 meters, tall and weighing between 220 and 240 pounds, 159 and 168 kilograms, he stands as a true colossus on the offensive line, someone who draws attention simply by stepping onto the field. This type of physique in itself represents a huge challenge for any defender on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Throughout his professional career, Cleveland has also shown rare versatility for a player of his size. He has played virtually every position on the offensive line, including left guard, right guard, tackle, center, and even being used as an extra player in heavy formations when the team needed to reinforce the running game or better protect the quarterback in specific situations. During his time with the Ravens, he accumulated solid run-blocking marks and averaged 62.5 pass blocking, numbers that, in theory, represent an improvement over the Chargers' performance on the interior of the offensive line at various points in the season. However, along with the natural excitement this name generates, comes the big question that divides opinions. Is Ben Cleveland arriving to immediately help in the playoffs, or is he a project thinking more about 2026 and the future of the franchise? With so little time to adapt to the offensive system, the playbook, and the team dynamics, it's difficult to imagine an immediate impact in a game as decisive as a postseason matchup. Therefore, there's a possibility he's just an emergency replacement, a depth option in case of injuries or unexpected problems. On the other hand, he could also be a long-term strategic bet, aiming to provide more competitiveness and real options to the offensive line in the coming years. Given all this, the Chargers enter the playoffs in an intense scenario, full of expectations and surrounded by pressure. The big question now is whether all this confidence will propel the team towards great performances. If you want to follow every detail of this playoff journey, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment. Do you trust this defense to go far? See you in the next video.